gets what? Who gets their priorities?
Find out. I mean, first things first. Let's see which side they decide to be on. It looks like CFU is going to be on blue side and SRG going to be on the red side. And the first couple of bans have already come through pretty quick for them. Fanny, Cho for blue side, and getting rid of the Jushin as usual for SRG.
They can also get the Bruno now. Follow through with the first phase. SRG do like taking out the Bruno regardless, no matter what side they're on.
They still lean in on the idea. The other suggestion here for CFU is, if you're not going to ban the Matilda, are you going to pick it up for yourselves? Because Yume, since SRG have shown, they play that so well. And I feel like I've seen enough, even just from that one game, to say that, yeah, they have to ban it. Good thing that they did.
Respect the Malaysian GOAT.
All right, let's see whether or not there's going to be respect on the Bruno as well, coming in from SRG's side. This is the very final ban here, and I'm expecting these first picks coming in from CFU side to mimic what we saw in game number 1. So I mean, it still could be a Suyo unless you have like a confident answer to a Bruno.
Yeah, because assuming that this is a Bruno ban, you can trade off for Bluyo, or maybe CFU go Hilda first. She's still open.
Also true. That's also a good point. But then you would rather just like lock in the alpha at that point. You don't care if they get Suyo, and then keep on playing with that oppressive playstyle that they saw in game number 2.
Yeah. The main trades of Alpha, Suyo, Hilda, Phoveus, Hylos. Yeah, those are the ones you have to watch out for as SRG removes the Bruno. So the heroes that we just mentioned now is the active trade. They go Suyo here, so SRG are open to go for the Hilda, the Alpha yet again.
So talking about the previous game's respect bans that we did see initially from SRG, Zask is something that they have to keep in mind if the the draft starts looking a little similar, or maybe they might just devolve back to what they're used to, comfort picks, and then they see from what point that they need to pivot once we get into the second phase.
Talking about pivot, SRG seems to not prioritize the Hylos as highly anymore. This could be Hilda X. No need to rush the Alpha.
That's true. So it is Hilda X, and it's the Eve.
Hilda Y.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this a lot. Because Yves wasn't initially picked up, but at the same time, it just means that CFU can instantly lock in the Valentina as a response towards it.
Yeah.
Both doing very good. I can steal the RWM, and I can kind of keep Hilda at bay at short periods of time.
I like the Valentina paired up with maybe... I'd lean more towards the Hylos instead of the Gato Kacha.
That's fair.
Plus the Valentina would turn off. If ever Yumes ends up picking the Tigreal or the Edith, you already have one of the best answers against those two heroes in the Valentina in your hands.
Oh yeah, and you technically soft block the Edith.
Yeah.
Because you steal so much, it's just such a huge threat. I'm with it. Z, do you have the Valentina?
Hylos, Valen. They could sub the Hylos for something else, but that's just my personal preference. That doesn't sound like a Valentina.
Oh.
Glue 1-1.
What an interesting proposition that CFU has proposed. Again, they're doing the same thing, but instead of the Moskov, they're doing it with the Wanwan. There is counter picks for SRG, though.
It's very similar to game 1, wherein they totally swerve us. Because we were also looking towards the same direction, and then they just go, yeah, you know what, we don't care. We'll pick up the XP laner and a strong gold laner.
Are you into this? Because at this point, I'm expecting the Irithel to come out from the side of SRG. And unless CFU has a direct answer towards it, I think I might have just preferred... No. The Hylos has gone into... Oh, they go into the Joy. They're trying to replicate previous draft except with an RWM on Eve?
38% win rate on Joy for the entirety of the M6 World Championship. That's what they decided to go into this with, going into the second phase. If CFU don't ban the Irithel, I think they're thinking that Innocent might just have a lot more options that will serve even more problems. Like, oh no, they turned off already. They don't need to go magic here. Yeah, it needs to be physical. Oh, they need to ban the Irithel. Excuse me. Yeah, CFU needs to ban the Irithel now.
Yeah, they do need to ban the Irithel. I mean, one of the picks that I've been waiting for the entirety of M6 is Clint. However, with that glue open, man, once you use that trap and recall, you're in so much danger.
There you go, great read. Again, even if we do see now on screen the draft recap for game 2, this is more of a throwback to game 1. So consider what made game 1 such a hard-fought match for SRG and an eventual win for CFU, and it'll make more sense.
Expecting the Zask. There's the Irithel ban that we were asking for from CFU. Makes a lot of sense. In terms of the big burst, Innocent, Beatrix might still be good for him.
And then CFU bans it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they probably will, which would leave them with a Claude. It's our last option.
Which is very game one.
Are they going to do it though? I don't know. Let's see what this next ban is from the side of Coach Arcadia. I want to see whether or not they're going to leave that Valentina open at all, or if so, are they going to get rid of, like, you know, possible Vixanas?
Because those are still options, because you need some range to cut right through the Valentina, the Eve, if not stealing it with the Valentina. Oh, if not the Vixana, what's left? Sicilian, would you do that? Is that too expensive?
Into the Eve matchup, maybe. It kind of depends on what the support is going to be, right?
Ooh, what if they get a page from the Vamos book?
Sicilian Carmilla.
Or do they go Carm Sicilian?
It could be a little tough here. I mean, Joy's hard to catch, is already pretty difficult to catch, but with the Carmilla, with specifically a Petrify, you've got some options at least.
Yeah. But then, in terms of the Yu's pickups...
They get rid of Franco.
Huh.
Why would SRG get rid of Franco at this point?
Might be a respect onto Opie? I mean, he does love the pickoff.
Supposedly as a deterrent for the assassin?
Yeah, but it looks like, honestly, the Franco wouldn't have been a problem considering they already have the Eve.
More so, just play the easier one of Tigreal.
Yeah, and the Franco into the Eve has been a long, time-tested matchup. Like, that's 50-50 as mechanically testing as it takes.
Yeah.
Must have been something they've seen in scrims?
Yeah.
Or it's just a free ban because they know that they could have played game one so much better.
Oh, they take away the Gatot Kacha instead.
I like that.
So they're allowing the Bea.
Yeah. They're going to play into it. So whatever this mid-roam is for CFU might be surprising and deadly. Alois off the board, you turn off Loyi Kaja, you shouldn't go pick off here unless they're just going to default back into Jawhead. Can't be, the lineup's going to struggle. The 1-1 won't be well supplemented.
Do they go deep in Ruby?
Go back to your grip with your minions.
Oh, it's Tig. All right, safer,
All right.
easier.
Very honest. Very, very honest.
So Valentina open for CFU.
2 big solid ults, maybe even 3 if you're counting the electrifying beats.
Yeah, but then we have to be fair. We've always said in the past that even if Valentina, it looks good for Valentina because she has so many ults to steal, there have been Valentina players who have crumbled to the choice paralysis of having way too many ults to steal.
I think bare minimum, RWM is always going to be a good option, right? And if Stormy decides to hide himself in the middle of team fights, at least you know for a fact that you can respond with your own implosion if it ever boils down to it. CFU, on the other hand, if they... Besides that, it looks like they've got a pretty decent lineup with their first 3. I am a little bit worried about this Wawa, whether or not it's going to have enough damage to kind of cut through multiple members. With the Khalid, now at least they will have ways to kind of manipulate pressure across the map.
I like it. CFU, they drafted a very Kamai playstyle lineup. They're here to fight, and they're not going to let SRG get to the late game if they're going to have their way.
What's the last pick? SRG. All eyes are on you here in Malaysia, here in IOI, to set Innocent up for success. Will it just be the Beatrix as we assumed it would be, or will it be a different gold laner?
Oh,
It's got to be physical.
it's got to be physical.
Yeah, they have too much magic already.
Claude again?
I guess Claw will be like kind of all right. They could go into Beatrix, but they don't have a lot of enable. Well, I mean, they can they technically do it with the Tigreal.
Gold medal in my pocket.
Moskov.
They play the map. We promised greater than ever. IOI City Mall, are you ready for the last game of Swiss Stage? As they thunder for SRG, let's pass you on over to Mirko and Brigida.
My oh my, I too am more than ready to witness the final game of the Swiss Stage. I hope everyone is, I hope you are as well, because we've been seeing endless surprises and I'm just excited to see more of them in this final game. Let's see how this goes. We're seeing the 1-1 once again in the hands of Sing. And the amount of control that could potentially show up in terms of both CFU and SRG's lineup. I'm so looking forward to the team fights, Mirko.
Me too. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into the final game. The final dive into the Land of Dawn for the Swiss Stage. Here it is, SRG versus CFU in a best of 1. Yes, it is 1-1, so it'll come down to one final game.
Who will have the upper hand in this crucial game? We're seeing Z once again on the Valentina with a brave smite. We'll see more of it when we show up our emblems later on, but I am expecting at least a much more aggressive approach in terms of CFU playing the early game. One to be expected for the Khalid and the Valentina, more so now that it seems they're kind of banking on the sustain, on the tankiness and the innate tankiness. It's even tenacity that they're trying to pick up here for Z, but Sekai is okay. Sing is able to avoid that.
Good damage down from OP. Master Assassin, Weakness Finder. Detective already invading an enemy jungle. Sky's gotta be careful. Detective is gonna be walking up as well. So snipe down, a bit of poke. Skies goes with the retribution. OP caught in the bad spot. Still able to escape. Detective gets level 4. Steals away 2 camps almost, right? Like the little one from that top camp.
Yep, that's great vision provided to OP. Great information and a very decisive first rotation from CFU Gaming. I mean, we've seen it first from SRG, but like that was way before Sakai's even had his level 4. So he didn't have his ultimate even when he attempted to go for Sing. And he was able to dance around all those dashes, so they weren't able to necessarily poke him down. They're managing the gold lane pretty well, but now let's divert our attention towards the EXP. A lot of players are here, and once again, they steal another jungle creep. So now, Detective is ahead by 1 level up against Sakai's.
And OP is doing a lot of damage onto Yums. Well, the panel already mentioned they will be able to actually manipulate the prio in a lot of the lanes with the Khalid, and that's what we're seeing here. Wado level 4 will try to go on to Stormy. OP trying to zone away Skies. Detective, oh my goodness, the shove and the bonk. First blood to Cram. Retribution on point. OP going to be caught in electrifying beat, still able to flicker out. Wado split to escape an early win for SRG.
Wado isn't here. Why don't we just go in and look for Detective? And it seemed like that was the plan for SRG. Just overwhelmed Detective with all the ultimates available, even when they knew that he had an advantage in terms of level, in terms of retribution. They were so sure of just focusing on taking down the heroes, but Sing, he is alone. Gets his level 4. But OP's there to support him in some ways, but they use the implosion onto OP!
Ooh, he dashes into the implosion. Z caught in the RWM. Selangor Red Giants 3-0 start to the game.
They just get to distract the other members from that potential gank. But there could have been better ways to deal with it, not by allowing themselves to die, and now there is a clear lead in the hands of Selangor Red Giants. Cram just doing usual things, but now, Raging Sandstorm in the face! And there's a stack of the crossbow attack, but they flicker away!
Crossbow attack, not enough to take Yums down, not just yet. Sing, no damage. Yums able to get away with all of the crimes technically he's been doing over to CFU. That implosion, Z walked into it. I think, well, he wanted to obviously get the implosion back to SRG, but the timing was off. He got caught in it and he was forced to purify.
And I mean, who would have thought that they would be just using the implosion onto just OP. But it seems like every kill counts for SRG, and yet another kill is taken 4-0 for their less than 4 minutes, at least a kill per minute for SRG.
Everything's going wrong for CFU Gaming. Everything's going right for SRG. Z with the steal into the implosion again. Even the panel was saying, you know, the reliable ultimate to take would still probably be the real world manipulation, but he's been banking on these plays, man. I don't know. Me personally, without a flicker on the Valentina, it's going to be hard to get the implosion down.
Yep, and I was actually wondering about the first rotation shown to us here by CFU, but now let's focus first on how they're able to take down that turtle. And going back, it seemed like prior to the turtle, they made Wadu go to the mid lane, right? And then OP was like supposedly getting his level 4 towards the bottom lane, but it seemed like he had to respond immediately to the pressure that was thrown at by SRG. So things didn't really work out for CFU for that first turtle. They weren't able to set up their XP lane in order to zone the other members and protect their crucial heroes. And at the same time, OP wasn't able to get his level 4 just yet. So like SRG, they're just able to take advantage of so much factors that went wrong for CFU. So now they can definitely play the macro game. They can definitely just engage as much as they want.
And honestly, for SRG, Sky solo kill! Wadu assassinated the glue, the tanky member, the guy with Brave Smite. And now Cram, oh, big bonk! Is OP an assassin or a roamer? Cram just did that much damage onto OP. SOD, oh, almost a good read there. OP able to walk away. Detective in the mid lane, trying to clear it out. Innocent getting free hits onto the turret. Z walking up, but Yums is just standing there.
Yeah. And I mean, when Sekai's actually went for Wadu, he was 2 levels behind of Cram. So they also knew that they can actually go for the kill, but they now go for Sing, and they just they dance their way around. But that's an ultimate committed here by SRG. And unfortunately for Sing, he has ways to save himself, but if it weren't for that, I feel like he's been a constant target as well for SRG.
And SRG will just have to play it slow at this point, right? They're happy with this. The fact that they are on a Joy and a Moskov,
yeah,
and they have a 2.5k gold lead means that they have all the time in the world to actually play. It's all up to CFU, it's all up to the Cambodian Sharks, who are, it feels in this game, brought into the land, not the waters that they are used to. Detective!
Oh my goodness.
Almost just obliterated by Skies on the Joy. The snowballing Joy.
Skies is having such a great time. I mean, consider how his teammates were able to just constantly steal and provide him even enemy jungle camps. So they were able to deny that best possible scenario here for CFU Gaming, but Wadu, oh, he goes in once more, but he's alone.
The Raging Sandstorm doesn't connect. Yums will be zoned away, but the turtle was already reset. The targeting is a bit off. Wadu is onto Yums. Sky's now walking up. Detective still on it. They will be able to get it. Their RWM comes down. Detective securing the turtle. Meanwhile, Wadu, though, isolated, should be taken down. That's a trade. A turtle for Wadu. CFU.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best possible scenarios for CFU at this point. Sacrificing Wadu to get their hands on a neutral objective and eventually trying to bounce back bit by bit from there. But now, SRG, they're just going to take down and force their tier 1 turrets. Fortunately, they have enough ways to defend. But in terms of like the other areas of the map, Sekai's has just been roaming around, getting all these jungle camps and even the turrets away from CFU Gaming. So their map, it's just gradually getting smaller and smaller. How do you even operate if you're just this limited in terms of the areas you can scout? Selamorja Giants, they have no problems in terms of the face check. They have no problems in terms of taking control of all the bushes. If any, it's even them that can take advantage of all these surprise plays, but then they don't even decide to go with that. It's just, Cram, go ahead, look for all these members. We don't need to take them by surprise. We can just fight them head on with our sheer aggression.
And SRG, again, will just take it slow. Every time CFU wants to make it fast tempo, Selangor Red Giants say, no, we're not going to play your tempo. There's absolutely no reason for us to go in for fights, to force out sieges. We'll just stay in the side lanes with the Moskov, with the Joy, and we'll play the slowest MLBB possible. 6-0, 4.4k gold lead. They are in literally no rush.
Yeah, and would you recall the kill score we had earlier?
11-0?
11-0.
11-0?
But we're looking at a 0-6.
Uh-oh.
It's kind of reminding us of what we've seen in game number 2, but that did not connect.
Nope.
Raging Sandstorm gone for CFU Gaming, and Cram's just standing there. They're just so confident knowing the resources that are unavailable for CFU, and we have 2 seconds before the Lord.
Even if it didn't connect, I don't think they would have been able to kill Yums.
Yeah. For Yums right now, I mean, he's such a threat. 4 out of 6 kills set up by either the implosions or by Sacred Hammer denies onto CFU Gaming. And this is a 2-level gap we're talking about between Detective and Sekai. So how would you be as confident trying to contest this potential objective that we're seeing right now in front of us? Right? I mean, even if Wadu decides to, once again, go for the interruption, I mean, he's doing it right now, but he's poked really, really low.
Stormy! What was that? Cram gonna be isolated, the crossbow tank flying down. Skies will be targeted next as the SOD connects, but Skies is able to dash away. Sing's walking into him. Whoa! Sing with a double! Innocent walking in, or teleporting in rather, with the SOD. The angle for CFU has emerged. The window of opportunity out of nowhere.
And CFU, OP, it seemed like it was just all part of the plan. That Raging Sandstorm that did not connect for the 2nd time in a row was just meant to disrupt everything that SRG would want to plan or set up for themselves. They eventually got their hands on the Lord, was not able to allow Stormy to just use the RWM to provide the space for SRG, and they just accompanied Sing, looking for the stacks of the crossbow of Tang and taking down two members. Now they are gaining gradual access to SRG's base.
The first 8 minutes of the game, it was a 5,000 gold lead for Selangor Red Giants.
Yeah.
It's gone. The first 8 minutes of the game have just been deleted by a big Sing play with the Wanwa. Now they are on the momentum with the Lord up top. They're threatening the tier 2 takes up top, and the gold lead is completely gone. It's actually towards CFU now.
It's like they were just okay with all of the turrets that were taken away by Sekai's in the early game because they knew that they just needed one crucial play.
Skies.
But Sekai's, they'll be chasing after him.
Detective walking up. Sky's still able to dash away, but he has to make a miraculous escape here. All the members are chasing him down. Sing, does he go for the Inspire? Oh, Sky's found out by Detective. He took out his magnifying glass for that one.
They were able to at least not allow any further damage and casualties in terms of the map. The bottom lane was slightly shoved, but that doesn't mean CFU still not gonna force taking down this tier 2 turret. They definitely just want to leave the base turrets for SRG. And this is Sing's time to shine, you know? This is the moment where you already expect Sing to be high in mobility enough, to have a high attack speed enough to actually dance around the members of SRG, even if they try to attempt to look for him. And at this point, I wouldn't say that he's the target you want to look out for if you were SRG, because he has a way to survive, all the more now that he had his hands on the Rose Gold Meteor.
You gotta say it right, Brigitte. Rose Gold, dog! They got the Rose Gold, dog!
Rose Gold, dog!
There you go.
That's how it... Okay.
Got the Rose Gold. SRG is still trying to fight for this purple buff. They gotta be careful though, because he has the implosion. Not a single... Oh! OP Raging Sandstorm, 2 members! Oh! Implosion! From C! Now the combo crossbow Tang! From Sing over to Innocent. It's gonna be a 2 for 2 for now. Skies and Yums for OP and Z. Sing is chasing Cram. Under the turret he goes. Will he be able to get it? No, he won't. The trade though. Is it good for SRG or CFU?
Yeah. That was so close too. We saw the slows from the corrosion, so they nearly had a way to make it a 3-4-2.
Oh man,
but
no Skies.
What matters the most is that, Sekai's is not here to actually support them in this potential Lord take. So CFU, they're just starting things up. They really want to get this Lord.
Stormy doesn't have the RWM, and that will be a Lord for free. Detective. Soul Sever and the Retreat, the combination CFU Gaming will get another shot at a siege into SRG's base.
And I can feel the confidence. I can feel it from CFU. I was just mentioning it right now, but the camera pans to OP, and he's been showing us these recalls since, I don't know, the 8-minute mark when they just did that one big play where Sing was able to get an advantage. So now they're in the lead, Virgo. They're almost 5k ahead of SRG. And fortunately for them, they have the real-world manipulation. Sekai's can once again go around the map, surprise CFU from behind. But that doesn't guarantee that they're able to anticipate all the potential plays that come in from CFU. Because if C gets his hands once again on the implosion, and if he sets things up, either even with the real-world manipulation, things can go wrong for SRG.
Let's see what Z goes for. Does he go for Stormy? Real world manipulation. Lord of the mid lane charging down. Base turret number 1 taken down in the mid lane. No more waves available. Innocent will be able to clear out the mid lane wave here together with Stormy, and CFU Gaming will have to be happy with that. Sing buys the win of nature. And CFU reload again. They reset. They do not want to get too greedy. Oh, SRG. Their golden road at risk here of being taken away from them.
Whereas Cambodia, CFU Gaming.
RWM, first RWM steal of the game, by the way.
All right. But there you go. This is the original real-world manipulation, and there's the copy.
The implosion goes wide. Yums has given Sing crossbow Tang. Inspire over. Cram has been isolated. Cram is down. Skies try to go for the finisher. Sing caught on Spear of Misery. The electrifying beach from Skies. 2 members down for SRG.
Okay. OP. He's very low, but it seems like he wants to go for it. Z pokes Stormy down, but the crossbow of Tang, they get the stacks, but they don't have it anymore. So they just be careful, but the SOD. Okay, Innocent goes in!
Innocent walks in, Stormy! Goes in for the kill! With a nature from Innocent, Detective walking in, Innocent! With a Maniac! Sing versus 3. Now Innocent jumps in, he goes in, Sing with a crowd! Solana Red Giants will keep their golden road alive!
And just like that, they go straight for the base! CFU Gaming, no one is there to defend!
It's over!
It's over for the Sharks!
SRG are still on that road! The Cambodian Sharks have been taken down! Welcome the final team to the knockout stages of the M6 World Championship!
The top 8 is completed for M6, and they gave us a really good fight to end the Swiss stage. We have to give it up for CFU and SRG for bringing us this fight, this intense fight we didn't know would go this far.
Innocent, if all else fails, you've got Innocent every single time.
They make Malaysia so proud once more. Let's break down what happened in that final game together with our panelists.
In the road to achieving your dreams, you have to break some. In the theater of dreams, that is the M Series. Another banger and another historic moment delivered by Malaysia! Congratulations to Selangor Red Giants, even though CFU literally took them to the limit.
This was their own little rendition of that 7-game series against Falcons AP Bren, and this time in a more compact package, down to the wire. What was that? 70-80% of Game 3, it was CFU in control, and then suddenly, in an outplay of the century, SRG just finds every single member of CFU, wipes them out, and says, not so fast, not on our watch.
I can't believe it. I can't even say it on technical level anymore. It's just the way that they play. Team fight perfection from both sides. Somebody eventually has to break, and I think that CFU should not, honestly, should never have their heads down anymore. So much respect for this squad. So much respect.
Big, massive respect to CFU Gaming and what they have done. They will get their moment to bow. Malaysia even showing them respect because everyone here were on the edge of their seats. What the Khmer Kings have done, they almost made it into the knockouts.
So close.
So close.
When you're that close, especially against a team as strong as SRG, you have to consider every single minute detail has to be perfect, and SRG saw where it wasn't.
Before we hear from Selangor Red Giants, let's toss you on over to Rose with CFU for their final bow.
In their first ever M Series appearance, the Sharks were able to make the Giants bleed, showing the whole world what the MLBB Cambodian scene is made of. Guys, you guys were amazing. The Malaysian crowd agrees. Unfortunately, your quest to be greater than ever ends here. But fret not, this loss is just a setback. The entire world is looking for your comeback next year. CFU Gaming, you may give your final bow in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, CFU Gaming. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. They put up an amazing, amazing fight. The last team to be going to the knockouts. The team still achieving the golden road, or is looking to achieve the golden road. Guys, give it up for Selangor Red Giants. Coach Arcadia and Ozora Vecchi. Anywhere. Hello, coaches. How are you feeling?
Good.
Good. Were you guys nervous just now? Honestly, I was super nervous. That game was intense. How was it like backstage?
I think it was a roller coaster of emotions. Like, because game 1, it was so intense. Game 2, it was one-sided. Game 3, we got the lead, but apparently they were able to come back. But we thought that they were about to end already. Then suddenly, we're the one who's gonna end the game. So it's a roller coaster of emotions.
Yes, Coach just mentioned it being a roller coaster of emotion. Now, Becky, we know that this was a make it or break it series, am I right? How did you guys as coaches manage to handle your mental and the state of everyone else in the player room?
I believe my players all have strong mental. Actually, we have this pressure for many moments, and then I just want to say that this is best of 3. We are the best in best of 3, so...
Wow, you are the best in best of 3s. Now, going on forward, knockout stages are best of 3. So, is that you saying you're confident for that?
Yeah, we are confident doing better in the tournaments, and then we will definitely keep improving.
All right, we like that. Just now, the crowd was super crazy. But what was crazier was the Veil on the second pick. Coach Ark, maybe you can shed some light. Why did you guys decide to pick Veil just now? Because it's very rare to see Veil in the pro scene.
Because that game, Stormy wants to try something new. He said, Coach, I'm already bored with Balen. You always pick me Balen. So he said, Coach, let's try this hero. And actually, he's one of the heroes that, part of his hero pool. Actually, Stormy is one of the mages that have a deep hero pool, so there are a lot of heroes to watch out for him.
I see. So is that a sign that actually we'll be seeing much more heroes in the mid lane from Stormy? That's a sign? That's a clue?
Yes.
Okay, now honestly, that Veil pick we were discussing backstage, I was telling them, I said, I think that's their $1 million pick for the second game. I think that Veil was like your MSC run as well. The Roger, you know, the players are just like, Coach, give me this. So I think the coaches did a really good job on trusting your players. Now, Vicky, we know that the Swiss stage, you guys experienced so many ups and downs, right? How would you rate your performance this game? This match specifically, your do or die match?
This game, in the last game, in the last pick as well, I told Innocent, we are gonna give you these 2 heroes, pick that one, that's gonna carry us to the KO stage.
Oh.
And then he did. He really did. He made the promise and then he executed it.
I see. So you gave him a choice of 2 heroes and then he picked from there. Okay, you know what? The boys and their $1 million picks, especially when it's a very crucial moment, I feel like it does come up, you know, because sometimes maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's because of the pressure. Sometimes the coaches can't really see the bigger picture too. It's really important that they have an open communication. Now, Coach Ark, maybe a final word because the entire Malaysia is celebrating today. 2 Malaysian teams has made it to the knockout stages. Anything you want to say?
Okay. First of all, thank you for everyone that went here to support us. And also, props also to all the teams that joined the Swiss stage. I think this MC is really competitive. So I want to give props also to all of those teams. And then to all the fans, thank you so much. I know our Swiss stage was not smooth sailing, and a lot of people, Coach, please ban Bruno. So just want to say thank you guys. Without your support, we won't be able to make it to the knockout stage. So going to the knockout stage, we're promised that we're gonna give our best. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much to Coach Ark and Becky. Promises has been
SRG,
made.
bro!
Promises has been made for the Malaysian team heading on to the knockout stage. So before we wrap up our Swiss draw, let's throw it back to the panel to break down what happened in this amazing match up against CFU Gaming.
Selangor Red Giants can continue of dreaming to achieve the first ever Golden Road in MLBB history. They were taken to the limit, but at the end, it was innocent and the Golden Spear of Destruction. And of course, the remaining members of SRG to say, hey, just go ahead and toss that in. What an ending to Swiss.
Dreams of the immortal run can still come true. And I'm happy to hear it from Malaysia's favorite son himself. we will ban the Bruno. You asked for it, and they did. All 3 games, whether they're blue, whether they're red, they banned the Bruno, and I think this is one legit way to make that gold lane matchup all the more fair.
Before anything else, do not forget, at the end of this broadcast, we will have our draw for the knockouts. So we're going to be seeing the matchups, the first set of matchups for the knockout stages. Back to the analysis for this one, though. Gideon, what do you want to mention?
Look, there's so many things that happened in this game that was interesting, but yes, let's start with the very beginning of this story. Coming down to the draft, it's clear that both sides are going to have a struggle for tempo, and it really depends on how the laners actually hold out their pressure. Unfortunately for CFU, SRG, we're taking advantage of their slower rotations while still finding that initial first blood to slow down Detective, and from that point onwards, you're expecting SRG to hold that lead. A 5k gold lead is how long they held it until CFU bounced back and forced it upon with creative ideas of not only OP, but in tandem with Z.
And then suddenly blitz the First Lord. That was the chapter of Game 3 that looked Cambodian through and through, right? You could almost smell the soups. You could almost hear them screaming, oh my God, we're doing this! And then did it feel like it was too sudden for me? Because they were playing it perfect up until they were inside SRG's base down mid.
Absolutely. I think they were playing it perfect up till that very point. And I think, you know, even then, there were some very cool moments. Even Stormy flickering out of the way, anticipating the Raging Sandstorm flicker from OP itself. However, it split the fight right in half, and Sakai's ends up going down, giving a free lord to CFU to find that initial bounce back.
It just goes to show, especially with MLBB, even if it looks like victory is just but a few basic attacks away, back off when you can and when you should. CFU didn't need to overstay. But again, we really have to credit this Cambodian squad for playing this game so well. There were times where we were questioning, OP, what the heck are you doing, man? But then it put SRG to this false sense of security by the time OP did hit a big-time Raging Sandstorm, or he was able to force things out. It set up Sing for success. The 1-1 that rushed items as fast as it can. That's the reason why CFU took the lead, because Sing was farming out of his mind.
If that's a lesson you can take into your ranked games, let it be that your roam and your XP can sandbag for your team. Let them die over and over again. Open up the map, buy time for your cores, and eventually you will come into a point where you can actually blitz a Lord suddenly and take control.
Yeah, I mean, they were also able to get 7 towers over SRG's 5. And I mean, even when we're looking at the gold lead, it's not even that much, right? It's only at the very end do we see that, you know, big swing for CFU and then finally for SRG. But at the same time, the damage numbers tell the entire story. Sing is doing so much for his team single-handedly while the rest must peel and sandbag for the rest of the team. And then you look at SRG's side, they are waiting for a optimal RWM, but they're just too many factors to set up to allow Stormy to have a clean call.
SRG eventually played this from a defensive position despite them getting 4-0 early on. Early kills onto Sakai. Sakai was able to solo kill Wadu in the EXP lane because Wadu refused to use the flicker. But then in the next fight, Wadu actually used that flicker to set up SRG getting pushed back. That's how they got the only turtle of the game and allowed them to up snowball. This game, I do not say this a lot, but that game was pure cinema.
It was great. Look at that goal graph. Look at that. The control from SRG initially to until we saw CFU turn it around.
This is the arc of that pure cinema bliss. Early game clearly went to SRG. You can see that as it goes to the purple. And then mid-game still belonged to SRG. They had a peak of what, 4 point something ahead. And that's huge. And then suddenly CFU worked themselves back and they owned the majority of the late game up until they didn't. And that was around the, I would assume, 13-minute mark.
Yeah, you can see it there. The aforementioned turtle number 3 going to the side of CFU. And slowly that allowed them to get a few more wins up until they rushed that very first Lord that we saw. And they continued taking towers. That quick decision that we hammered on earlier for CFU to say, hey, wait, let's go ahead and take this.
Yeah, I mean, let's even talk about that very final fight. The things that led up to it, they were using RWN's implosion combos right by the bottom inhibitor initially against CFU's side. And we did see that the counter engage was just so much better from CFU thanks to Wadu, thanks to the range that Z put himself in and also stealing an RWM of his own. and it took out 2 members from SRG, which makes it even more impressive that our MVP of this game, Innocent, single-handedly in a 3v5 defense was able to pull it off.
Detective was looking for evidence of SRG being guilty, but at the end, they were innocent. 5-0 and 5. Deathless was the Moskov that pulled the play of a lifetime.
Detective couldn't find any evidence on him. He was innocent. PH Wing. I will credit the geniuses on our stream. People are real creative about watching and supporting their favorite players, their favorite athletes, and it came down to that very moment. You know what? Watching that last sequence again and again and again in my head, I'm throwing back to when Innocent could not do that in game 1. So it just shows you how fast and how much he, how do you say, took it to heart what he said to Coach Vecchi and the coach Arc, that you give me this hero, you trust me in these moments, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, and it happened, did it? Oh, man. I can't believe that he's able to do it over and over again. I don't know where he gets the consistency of this clutch gene, but it's impressive that he's able to do so. And I would say even Zing makes a very good argument to take that spot of the clutch gene as well, right? Because this was that very moment. 5v3. Everybody low. Sakai's thinking about going in to maybe get a triple kill. Bang. But they all just lined up for an SOD, and unfortunately, it just led to disaster.
Windtalker popped perfectly. Detective couldn't finish him off. Sakai's, even though Singh already used his ultimate earlier, CFU, 1 Spear of Destruction from Innocent. My goodness, that's one of the greatest moments.